Welcome back to another really special episode for my DM clinics. This is my good friend Mary, and Mary's got something which I don't even remember exactly what she's presenting, but I'm excited to see it because I love Mary. I love her blog posts. You don't need to follow her. So I will pass the mic over to Mary. Welcome, Mary. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, thanks for having me. What fun this is.
Oh, you
So
need to
would
go share
you,
your screen.
I'd have some slides I'd love to show
Okay, go
everyone
ahead.
as I
Sorry, you can do
talk,
it now.
because
My
it's much better than looking at me. So if you make that possible, I will do that.
Yep, you're good.
Awesome. So I wanted to talk about some little nerdy things today because I'm more than a little nerdy about this stuff. And there's a whole lot that goes on in our brains that decides whether people are going to give or not. And being aware of those might make it easier for you to communicate well and just even think about how you're presenting your offer. So the question is, what makes a donor want to give, right? And boy, we'd all love one quick, simple answer to that, and we'd all be raising all kinds of money, right? But let's just look at some sciencey stuff. Now, here's just a warning. I'm an English major, not a scientist. I avoided as much of the science as I could when I was in school, but this stuff is kind of interesting, even for English majors. Um, you know this one, of course. This is the most important one, and so often it gets lost. We don't make logical decisions. We make emotional decisions. That's why your communications doesn't want to lead with facts. A little bit of those gives you some, cred, but it's really all about emotions. So keep that first in your mind. Just even doing more of that will mean you raise more money.
I have one question, Mary. Are you sharing
Yeah.
your, are you going to share your screen or
Oh, I thought I was.
no? No, I thought you.
We gotta get out of here. So
I thought you were going to,
let's
then I was like, she's not sharing a screen.
I thought we had gotten that. Now I gotta find. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. I clicked on it and said
Right.
share and it didn't behave. Thank you, Jeff.
Perfect. My
Okay,
Ibby.
so let's go from this one. So are we seeing it?
Absolutely we are. Thank you.
Okay. So the reason behind wanting to use emotions rather than lots of handy facts, they trigger our nervous system. We like have a physical reaction to them, which you've experienced. You get really angry, your face gets red, your heart's beating faster. But that's built in because that's how we humans evaluate experiences, so we can choose what to do about them. Another good one to keep in mind is we're like group animals. We go along with the crowd. So there's this bandwagon effect where if you say a whole bunch of people are already doing this thing, there's going to be an urge to join all the people who are already doing this thing. So let people know when you're communicating with them that, all of these people in this group have already decided to give, or, there's all kinds of ways you can pull that in. Just again, these just good things to tuck away in your brain. Um, Helping feels good. People give because they like to give. It feels good, or not just like intellectually, but like physically. You feel good when you're doing nice things for other people, and thank goodness for that, right? Um, Mother Nature makes us feel that way. And it has been found that the people who sacrifice for others are the ones who are best equipped to face challenges themselves. So we get rewarded for that. Um, Another couple of things on the same line. If I helped you once, I'll do it again. So don't forget about those donors who've already given to you. And I just had to put the reasoning up there because it really made me laugh. So I helped that person, so they must be a good person. Otherwise, I'm just an idiot. And we don't like to feel like idiots.
But
But
this stuff is so like I'm trying to hold my like the whole idea of like you said, humans wanting to belong, like that social proof aspect of our work.
Mhm.
Like I I will do on part of my clinics. I do talk about the same thing, some decision science, because it is so important. And since we were cave people, we always were on the move, and we were always on the move together. Do you know what I mean? Like we didn't want to do
Yes,
things that
yes.
separate us from
Alone, you died, right?
within here. Yeah, it's like ingrained in our DNA. We can't help it. And same with this idea that you're talking about. We have an opportunity when a donor does something really good for us to like throw that back to them, reflect that back onto them, that they are actually a fantastic human being. It primes them to actually be asked again. That's,
Yeah.
I was telling you about Mark Phillips thing, which will come somewhere around here. That there's an opportunity. If you can thank them properly, they're primed to be asked again, because I want to feel that. It's like going for ice cream or eating chocolate. Like if it's really good, you're gonna want it, or having good sex. Like you want it again as soon as possible because it was really enjoyable. And giving is like that. It does,
It
it's the
is,
brain
right?
gets activated. People don't, you have to utilize that information for your programs or for your
It
fundraising.
also might make you feel better about being a fundraiser, right? So
Mhm.
there's a weird tendency to think, oh, I'm hitting, there's all that violent language, like I'm going to hit somebody up for that gift, or
I'm
and
begging for
that,
money. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, no, no,
That's not what it is at all.
no. Sorry, Mary.
No, no. This one was also interesting, though. People who've said no to you are more likely to help the next time. So maybe don't give up too fast on people who've said no. Uh, John, I'd love to hear what you think about this one, because I'm still not entirely sold, but I saw something about this recently when I was nerding out.
Mhm.
And it said using a group noun is more effective than a verb. So instead of donate now, appeal to a sense of group identity by saying be a donor. Whoops, sorry about that. Um, which I don't know, verbs are so much stronger usually than nouns, but I guess it's more of that group identity, that group belonging.
I think so. I could see how it could work there. I mean, be a donor. It is kind of also an action too. Do you know what I mean? Like it is
Yeah.
forced by action, but yeah, it's interesting. Where did you pick that one up from? Was it something that
Oh, I'll have to go back and look.
yeah, just
I will
curious.
find
I
it for
mean,
you though.
I don't have strong feelings about it. I mean, I don't like in our work, I don't really overthink. You know all the stuff and then
Yeah,
we just
it's
do
true.
our work. So it's
It's
not like we get too deep into the weeds of should I make this or should I make it like that?
Yeah,
Um,
so usually in that case, maybe the best thing to do is try it and see what happens, and
exactly. Yeah, great
then
idea.
you'll know. So we were just talking about these, ancestors sitting around in caves, John, and stories, stories, stories. And I'm sure anybody watching this already knows this, but stories are just the heart of how we communicate. You can give people a nice list and a rational, logical argument, and it's never going to have the effect that telling them a really good story does. Um, but it's interesting to know that incomplete stories really get us. We really want to know what happens, which is why, not giving away the happy ending in an appeal can be really effective because donors want to complete that story by giving.
It's very
So,
much a nuance, I would say, in between Canadian fundraising and American fundraising. I know some
mm,
of American fundraising, you never hear what happens to Bobby. Like you never find out was his life saved?
right.
Whereas
No,
Canada,
yep,
it's always like
yep,
you can help. Bobby was saved because donors like you have helped, and will you want to help? The Bobby of tomorrow sort of thing. And
yep,
It's just as effective, I think, in the right hands of people who know what they're doing. But a little nuances. I always know usually in the US, you never hear what happens. The story's never completed, generally speaking. And Canada almost
yeah,
always is fully, you know the whole story, but I have an opportunity to help to make sure the story doesn't happen again, kind of thing.
yeah,
So it's a
yeah,
little
that's
nuance,
interesting.
which yeah, but I think incomplete stories, there's space for it. There's space.
Mhm. Well, this American uses them, that's for sure. Um, her sense of touch is really, really strong. And you're saying, okay, but in an email or a letter, how the heck do we do that? But there's this one study I read years ago. It was out of Drexel in Philadelphia. And they did a study where they had people either touch something rough like sandpaper or wash their hands with an exfoliating scrub, something that was triggered that sense of touch and it was rough. That awareness of discomfort, like not pain, but just, sandpaper's rough on your fingers or the exfoliating scrub, the same thing. It triggered a greater sense of empathy. And more of those people were agreed to give after touching something rough like that. Isn't that fascinating?
How would I use that in appeal?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe the paper you send has more texture or, I don't think the trick is just to throw emery boards in with it, but but it's fascinating, isn't it?
Yes,
That like,
yes.
and maybe that's another argument in favor of male instead of email, right? Because you can design around what things
Yeah.
feel like piece of slick paper or a piece of rough paper or so there's something to that. All of our senses come in. Um, one is powerful. Again, I'm sure you all know that, but don't tell me a story of 14 people. Tell me a story of one person. So Bobby, not all the people who have this problem that Bobby has. Um, and we feel compelled to return a favor, which is good, more keeping the species alive stuff. Um, we know this works, right? You get you get the ones who go right over the top. There are organizations who just take a big envelope and throw everything but the kitchen sink in there, hoping that the labels and the postcards and the tote bags and the whole thing and the package will somehow make people want to feel like they need to give again. Whoops. I wouldn't jump right over all of it, but sometimes a little something certainly works.
Hmm.
This one I totally feel. And if you've ever been a parent and have little kids, you know just what it is, right? You don't say, what do you want to wear today? You say, would you like the red shirt or the blue shirt? Too many choices makes us all crazy, even though we hide it better as adults. So don't give your donor too many things to have to think about. Give them a choice. Um,
Analysis paralysis is an actual thing. It's like I use
yeah,
an example of like a wine menu, like if you have a wine menu, just like you end up not making a decision at all. You're like, what do you recommend? Because there's too
right.
much data. You just don't. And humans are inherently lazy. We're trying to like make decisions as quickly as possible. So that idea of friction, right? When we offer more
Yeah,
choices, we're creating
yeah.
friction in the process of giving, of which a lot of donors will just not give. So I marvel that people don't understand some of these very simple concepts of how our brain actually works and makes decisions because it so impacts our work all the time.
All the
I
time.
see it and everything, and so many examples of like Dale's Mail that I look at. I'm like, here's whoever put this together didn't have any concept of any of these ideas at all. That's probably
And I mean, think about how many choices we have to make every day already. And it's just like, yeah, why would your appeal take precedence over all the other pain in the neck things I have to decide? We hate losing. We're more afraid of loss than we are eager about for gain. So if it's a choice between potential gain or potential loss, we really will act on something that we can say means we're not going to lose. So give donors that chance to not lose by helping somebody, not have somebody lose something by helping them.
it's that scarcity mindset actually is can be used beneficially, right, in this work where like
Yeah.
giving days or giving deadlines,
Hmm.
we're attracted to things that are in short supply. So that idea of losing out on something, again, it's ingrained in our brains and forces us to act. And marketers have known this for a long, long, long time. But that's why, again, we should utilize it so much in our fundraising. Lovely.
And all of us want to be seen. There was all this ruckus at times about giving donors too much credit, too much attention and care and all of that. And, they should just fork over the money and shut up kind of stuff. And I hate that. And it's not true because we all want to be acknowledged and validated. And that's why you don't send just a receipt in the mail. That's why you send a really wonderful thank you letter that makes them feel seen and appreciated. And first, because it's the right thing to do, but second, because if they feel like you care about them, they're going to care more about your cause. So don't be mean. Be warm and lovely, and that makes you feel good too. And then everybody feels good. It's a good thing all around. So those were my weird little things. This was the blog post that it all originated from, and you might find some more links there that I just can't hold in my head. As you asked for before, John, they'd probably be hiding in there for you.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Well, Mary, thank you very much for that. I very much appreciate your time. Mary, where can people find you if they want to reach out and pick your brain about some stuff?
Oh, Mary at mcahalane, CAHALANE.com. And that's by email, or the same mcahalane.com will get you to my website.
Fantastic. Mary, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks for doing this.
Good, thanks to see you.